Hello and welcome to a new feature I am calling What the F Are These Jagoffs Up To? And I'm your host, Chuckles152. You can catch me on Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok at Chuckles152. And today, we're talking about these two jagoffs. The United States of America and Mother Russia. Why are we talking about them? Well, let's figure out why. The Ukraine, you know? It's what everybody's talking about. Everybody's buying their flag. Let's go blue and yellow, jerking off to whatever fucking political figure that's decided to put on a photo shoot about their fucking newfound combat experience in the Ukraine. Well, you got all these Americans and other fuckheads just jerking off all over people like this jagoff. I mean, really? He's in a fucking trench? Trench warfare ended, I don't know, 90 years ago when tanks started fucking rolling through. But yeah, this jagoff's in a fucking trench, let me tell you. Fucking public relations is killing me because nobody realizes it. But I digress. Let's get to what's really at play here, why we are here, and what's going on. But to understand that, we got to travel, as Cher would say, we got to turn back time. If I could find a way, we're going to go all the way back to a photo, if you're American, you should know, to the Cuban Missile Crisis. Who's this jagoff right here? That's JFK. If you didn't know that, get the fuck back to high school. Who's this cocksucker up here? Well, he's the guy that ultimately murdered this guy, but we're not going to talk about that in this video. That's Lyndon B. Johnson. He'd later become president, but I digress. We're going to go move on to other shit. So, why is JFK important? You can forget about Lyndon B. Johnson. Fuck him. He's an asshole. He literally had this guy murdered over here. But, why is JFK important? Well, he was a central figure, along with this jagoff, Nikita Khrushchev, in this jackoff, who was this jagoff's good friend, and that's Fidel Castro. These two jagoffs, you see them? They wanted to shoot missiles at the United States of America. They wanted to put missiles in Cuba. Why do they want to put them in Cuba? To close the gap from Russian missiles that at closest were in Russia. Right here close to North America and the United States of America, roughly 234 miles to mainland United States of America. And they wanted to shoot missiles at these cities, which, for whatever reason, they left Philly off this map because they're fucking jagoffs. They act like Philly is some third world fucking American city, and they'll even put fucking Denver on here. I guess this is Los Angeles. Fuck them. Who the fuck is even up all the way up here? I don't even fucking know, but they're definitely not more important than Philadelphia. I guess you could say the capital is, I'm obviously a bigger target, than the most populated city. Sure, I fucking get it. And plus, there's all the financial bullshit up there. And you know what? I'll even say Atlanta and Chicago because of their hubs. But Philly's fucking right there with those cocksuckers. Definitely better than Mexico City, Denver, and whatever the fuck's out west, because who the fuck cares about anybody out there? But I digress. The Cuban Missile Crisis. So what was it about? Well, Russia wanted to bring a warship all the way over here, put some fucking missile installations on there, and then shoot so they could shoot missiles at the United States of America a lot quicker than they were currently able to do so. So these two fucking were tussling. You had fucking JFK in his war room fucking acting like he's some kind of fucking hero. I mean, technically, yeah, he saved us from fucking nuclear war. And then you had these two jerking each other off. You can see the fucking hand motion, and what's inside the hand is a big dildo. And it was a very scary time because you had people hiding underneath desks and pretending like that's actually going to save you from nuclear war. So, how does that tie into current day? Well, let's explain it. And sorry, my fucking alarm on my washing machine's going off. So, we got a bunch of jagoffs today. First, we have this jagoff. He's the president of fucking Ukraine. Well, he starts calling up this jagoff. Somebody claims he's the fucking president of the United States of America. I really don't believe it. I don't know. Whatever. I know as much as he does, and that this dude's not capable of being president of the United States of America. So, what's going on here? Well, this guy starts talking to this jagoff about, hey, like, why don't we bring your country, I mean, roughly a third world country, right? I mean, it's not in the best of sorts. Let's get them involved in something I got cooking, you know? Like, we'll get my son a job at Burisma. We'll talk, you know? Like, we'll get some good shit done for you Ukrainians, Mekrainians. So, you got this country, Ukraine, and they got something everybody wants, and that's natural gas. And they got a lot of it. They jumped from not being ranked to the number 15 country in natural gas. It's all over. And allegedly, in their exclusive trading rights in these seas, there's a whole lot more. And you can see why Russia would want it. But, you know who wants it more? I'll tell you. Burisma. And where does Burisma come into this? Oh, Mr. Big Guy over here put some in for the big guy. His son that smokes crack, he works for Burisma. So, you can see why it would be important for Mr. President to have some kind of influence over all that natural gas. But you also tie into this cocksucker who will not be happy with American encroachment into its sphere of influence. Much like the United States didn't want missiles in Cuba, well, Mother Russia here doesn't want it in Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Belarus, Ukraine, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, Japan, China, and if you didn't know, the United States and Russia do border each other. Used to be able to walk between the two countries. But I digress. If you're Russia here, you don't want American missiles all over in your sphere of influence. So, your enemies there start talking to this guy about bringing them into the North American Treaty Organization, otherwise known as NATO. And why is that important to, and understandably concerning to this guy who absolutely jag-off dickhead, president of Mother Russia, Vladimir Putin? Why would this be concerning to him? Well, let's say this. We're going to bring up a map. This is a map of missiles in Europe and defense systems. Well, you can see that Mother Russia likes having a buffer between NATO countries and NATO countries over here and Mother Russia. You see, these red spheres are the spheres of missile influence of Russia, and the green ones don't touch Russia. And you could see why Russia would be pissed off if you wanted to put them on their doorstep in the Ukraine. So you're talking to Ukraine about it being accepted into all these green countries, NATO. And all these green countries are going to protect other green countries. And say you got a problem with Ukraine. Well, you can't attack them if they get into NATO. And basically, all these motherfuckers are going to come after you if you got any problem with your neighbor. And you don't like when people that are fucking 3 blocks away are trying to interfere in your neighborly fucking bullshit, you know? So, but if you're the Western world, if you're the United States of America and its monetary influences, you want to paint these motherfucker, you want to paint them as the bad guy. So you bring in the movie name Endgame, like Thanos here had. So you got Putin. We're going to call him Thanos from here on out. This jagoff Thanos. You got him being painted the bad guy by the old red, white, and blue. And you got them saying, you know, we're going to make new Russia down here, and it's going to be our new country. Meanwhile, you got a bunch of motherfuckers that are down here that are in open revolt with the rest of Ukraine because they're Russians and they want to be with Russia. So this also happened in Crimea. And they literally, the people of Crimea, voted to go back to Russia. They didn't want to be part of the Ukraine. Ukraine is not that great of an organized country. Literally, it's a fucking... Their Jerry Seinfeld is the president of the fucking country. It tells you how together their shit is, you know? So, well, now, what is concerning to all of us? Not this, sorry. Wrong infographic here. Why does this all concern the United States of America? Well, I'm going to tell you that this guy isn't smart enough to be playing the 3D chess this guy's playing. This dude's playing with fucking tiddlywinks. This dude is playing 3D chess, and it's all over this land over here. So, why is this important to us? Why don't we want to end up in, I guess, war? And why would this guy want to push us to war? So, let's explain all this. So you bring these guys into NATO. This guy wants to do that. This pisses this guy off real bad because now he's going to have missiles on his doorstep if they're in NATO. And you don't want that. So this guy pushes for it because he kind of wants this guy to get attacked by this guy. So how does he do that? Why does he do that? Well, why is the good old thing known as the military-industrial complex. And what is that? It's basically this triangle of Congress approving funding to go to the Department of Defense, to then go to large military contractors and bring it all the way back to Congress into their pockets with campaign contributions and kickbacks and insider trading where they're able to trade, and Nancy Pelosi just continues to get richer. Wow. Why would they want to push war? Well, because of the dollar bills, y'all. I don't know you, but Wu taught me cash rules everything. And that, my friends, is what Uncle Sam, Mother Russia, and good old Joe Biden are all about. The dollar bills, y'all. I'm sure investments were moved months ago because, you know what? War may be hell, but not to these motherfuckers who don't have to go. Some folks of old who were made to wave the flag, you know? Their money gets to go to military contracts, weapons manufacturers, and to Congress people.
I found this really funny and I wanted to share it with everybody. I have 1,800 nuclear missiles, 283 battleships, 9,400 planes. I spend more on my military than the next 12 nations combined, and despite spending more every year, I still feel insecure. It's simple. You have a military industrial complex. And that's it, my friends. How does that help Joe Biden other than his money? It will help his presidency. War is good for the good old US of A. More war will bring back our inflation levels. It'll hopefully, he thinks, drop the price in gas. I think it'll be the opposite. And I mean, so right now you have high gas prices, rising rents, rising cost of living, rising everything, energy costs, and all this. And he's looking worse and worse. His ratings are going lower and lower and lower. But what could save that? A good old war to start churning that economy and making all these things go down so that he can win the midterm elections and bring unknown horrors to the rest of us. Because he's too fucking stupid to actually be president. Remember, everybody, learn from history. Why should we think Russia wanted to live there or to live with the same problems we didn't want to live with? Again, I do understand there's reasons he would want this country. Tons of natural gas. I'm not saying he's perfect, and he's calling the bluff of this guy. But make no mistake, it started with us pushing on the doorstep, giving him the push he needed as an excuse and a cover to take all that natural gas. I mean, neither man. I blame this man more because he pushed this man and gave him the excuses he needed to make this all happen so that this guy can pretend to be a soldier in a fucking, I don't know. Anyway, hope everybody has a good time. I hope you enjoyed my video. Please give me a thumbs up or tell me that I'm a world-class fucking asshole. Either way, I hope you enjoyed it. You can check me out on Twitter, YouTube, and on TikTok at Chuckles152. Have a good one.